In this video, I'm going to give you my favorite build that I've made so far this year in NBA 2K25. If you were looking for a guard that can do it all and then some, you probably want to check out this video, as that's exactly what this Anthony Edwards inspired build is capable of doing. Quick point of note before we get into things, this is going to be a starter 3 build, so in order to get the exact build that you see on screen, you're gonna need those 5 extra cap breakers, but throughout the video I'll show you where you can make adjustments for those of us who haven't hit starter 3 and don't have those cap breakers yet. But without any further delays, let's get right into it. You already know, first, last name, and handedness does not matter. Jersey number, we're gonna go with 5 for Anthony Edwards. And then getting into what actually does matter, the body type. For position, you can go either way, point guard or shooting guard if you want the ball all the time. Go with point guard. If you want to stay true to Anthony Edwards, then go with the shooting guard. Me, myself, I went with the shooting guard. I probably should have went point guard because these rec point guards are trash, but it is what it is. On the height, we went with a 6'4", and then for the weight, we put that sucker up to 220, which again is pretty much around where Anthony Edwards sits at in real life. And then for the wingspan, we went with a 6'10", which is going to give us access to that 94 mid-range, if of course you so decide to put that up. But if you don't plan on going with the high midi, you can totally bump this up to get you some longer arms, as that will always be more helpful on court opposed to the T-Rex arm. But that's going to be entirely up to you. For me, I went with 6'10". And so on screen now, you'll see this is what your cap breakers are going to look like for a 6'4", 220 pounds, 6'10" wingspan build. And make sure to take your caps into account, as of course this year you can add your breakers and bump up your overall to a maximum of +5. Now, jumping into the actual build itself, we're going to start out with the finishing category. And for close shot, we're going to leave it where it is for now, as it's going to end up getting bumped up anyway. The first attribute that we're actually going to put up is going to be layup or driving lay, and we're going to put that up to an 80 so that we can get silver physical finisher, and it's going to give us bronze layup mixed master. And most importantly, it gives us access to D Rose's layup style, which in my opinion is the best in the game for the small guards. For the driving dunk, this is an Anthony Edwards inspired build, so you already know we're going to want to be taking off with this build. And to that note, we're going to put the driving dunk up to an 87. And if you know, you know, but an 87 is way more than enough to dunk effectively in this game. Next up, standing dunk, and it's simple. Just put it at 45, and we're going to keep it pushing to our post control, which we're going to put the 79, just so that we can get gold post fade phenom. For me, I like to have the ability to go to the post, so I keep it at 79, and the lowest I'd probably go is a 77 on any build. Next up, the shooting category. For the mid-range, I put this at an 88, which in itself is a great level, and you pretty much have all the silver shooting badges. But like I said at the start of the video, this is a starter 4 build, so with those cap breakers, we definitely bump this all the way up to 93, so that we could have that Hall of Fame set shot specialist along with gold rest of our shooting badges. And then if you're still struggling to shoot with this build, you could always +1 that set shot specialist to legend, and at that point it should be GG's. That or it's on you. Moving on to the 3-pointer, here we want to go with an 83, and that's just so that we can have that bronze limitless, so that when we are in the wing, we ain't gotta hug that 3-point line, and we're better able to space out the court a bit more. Honestly, with my +1s that I got from season 2 and season 3, I would probably bump this up to 85 just so I feel more comfortable shooting it. But 83, 85, there's really no big difference between the two numbers. It's probably just a placebo. Now for the free throw, I put it up to an 85 and equipped Steph Curry's free throw on all of my small builds. It's simple as that. Moving on, next we have the playmaking category. Now when it comes to Anthony Edwards, he isn't the best of playmakers, averaging only 4 assists on his career, but it's 2K, so you know we gotta embellish a bit here. Starting with the pass act, we went with an 85 so we have access to bronze bailout, because without it, 2K will sell you on any type of pass out, even on the hop steps. So in my opinion, if you're a shot creator or ball handler, you're gonna want some type of bailout on your build. As far as pass style goes, I switch a lot between Bron, De'Aaron Fox, and John Morant, but right now I have LeBron equipped. Next, we got ball handle, which we're gonna wanna put up to an 86 so we can get silver ankle assassin, as well as a bevy of dribble animations. And then for speed with ball, we're also gonna put that up to an 86 as well, just for that gold lightning launch, which with the +1, we could bump up to Hall of Fame. And especially, this is gonna give us access to that Darius Garland dribble style. which, as you should already know, is one of the best in the game. Now, moving on to the defense category, in my opinion, Anthony Edwards could be way better on defense, but again, this is 2K, so we're gonna embellish a bit here. Starting with the interior defense, put that sucker at a 75, as that's all you really need this year as a small guard, even though 80 would be ideal, but we gotta pick and choose what we do with these points, you already know. For the perimeter defense, I went with a 92, mostly because I play a lot of randoms and ain't nothing worse than being a defensive liability in random rec. So with the 92, I get all gold perimeter defensive badges, which is way more than enough to be serviceable on the perimeter. Moving on to steals, me personally, I don't really go for lane steals or on-ball steals. I'm more of a straight-up defender, so I just put this sucker at a 67 just so I have bronze interceptor and pickpocket, but again, I don't really use those like that. And then for the block rating, I of course maxed that out at a 68 so that we can get bronze high flyer. As far as the rebounding goes in this build, for the most part, wherever it got bumped up to from our stats is a fine set point. Though for defensive rebounding, I went up a bit to a 55 just so we can have bronze box out beast, just so we can go down there and try and help out. I already know we're not going to grab any boards, but we can put a body on somebody, pause. At the end of the day, this is a 6'4 build, so we're not grabbing big boards, but it's always a plus to be able to go down there and help your bigs out by boxing out his mans, or trying at least. Trust me, it'll go a long way. Moving on to the physicals, we have speed and agility, which so far on all of my guard builds this year, I've been going 85, 85, and honestly, I feel that's enough to stay with just about any build that you're going to be coming across at the 1 or 2. For strength, we of course maxed that sucker out at an 85 so that we now have gold immovable force and Hall of Fame strong handles. So on offense, we still have a second way of getting past our mans if you're unable to lightning launch blow by your man, blow by him. So you can pretty much just kill him with the strong handle spin move if he has no strength. It's literally GG's. And then on defense, immovable should stop this type of stuff from happening to us. And for the vertical, of course, we had to put this sucker at a 75, so we have access to all of the dunk animations that an 85 driving dunk gives us access to. And there you have it. This right here, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say is the best Ant Edwards build on YouTube, at least in my opinion. And that's strictly because this build not only gives you the capability to emulate Ant's game on the court offensively, but the added benefit of being able to play solid perimeter defense is invaluable, especially if you're going to be wrecking with randoms or just running with randoms in general. And before we get out of here, I do want to go over that non-starter 3 version of the build, and pretty much you have 2 options here. You can either -5 from your mid-range and have silver shooting badges like I did, or -5 from your perimeter defense and go with an 87 and you have silver defensive badges. So the option's really up to you. But that's the build. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to drop the animations. But till then, luck out. Peace.